speaker this evening is Councillor Julie Matheson. Councillor Matheson was elected to represent the East Ward of the City of Subiaco in October 2011. Her campaign was built around saving Subiaco's identity, retaining the village lifestyle, promoting suitable development and retaining Subiaco's independence. The East Ward of Subiaco has had 6 DAP applications lodged with the City since July 2011, and her presentation is a brief overview of the experience so far.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Go, Julie.
So yes, I got the message last presentation that I went over time. So this is part 2 of a 4-part presentation. You'll have to come back and then another meeting for the rest of it. So as you can see, that's my topic for this evening in the 10-minute time frame that I have is DAP, SAT and secrecy. It's a state government initiative. So DAP is the Development Assessment Panel, SAT is the State Administrative Tribunal, and secrecy is the secret meetings they have been allowed to have over matters dealing with this city. Next slide. So, as we've heard tonight, local government, why should we care? You know, why should we just let the state government, you know, ram through the legislation, force amalgamation? And it was pointed out at the Councillor meeting that by one of the members of the audience that none of our presentations touched on amenity. So tonight I'm going to touch on amenity. And that audience was a well-informed audience, as the one is here tonight. So I look forward to your questions and your comments about the presentations that you've seen tonight. You know, local government is open, transparent, accountable for its decisions, and the local government is the caretaker of our town planning scheme. Without our town planning scheme, we wouldn't have the amenity that we treasure here in the western suburbs, and in fact all over Western Australia, both in the northern parts and in the southern parts. The amenity is fantastic because of the local government that we have. We may have some people, you know, in the Cottesloe area. As we know, the amenity is the key to the future, and the future is uncertain under this government at Cottesloe. We are losing control of our future, and we want it back. And we have no idea. The next point on the slide. We have no idea what the future brings. And it could look like this in Dalkeith. We've moved on a couple of slides. We've got to Dalkeith. Dalkeith and Warrantah Avenue. Thank you. No, it's fine. We'll stick with Dalkeith. The state government is intervening in the area of Dalkeith at Warrantah Avenue. The minister hasn't liked what he's seen from the local council and the elected members and the community, so he's stepping in, you know, to create its future for Dalkeith. Next slide, which is Subiaco. So Subiaco, the state government for plans for us, is the futuristic strategies which are undermining our culture, and the developers are seizing on the opportunity. All of their submissions and their development applications talk about this, the state government's futuristic plans, and gives us futuristic buildings to match those futuristic plans. But I'm not sure whether that is what we want in our city. Our next slide shows our heritage. The DAP is ignoring our heritage in Catherine Street and the character. You know, the DAP approved offices with no residential component whatsoever, and it didn't even consider the relevant size or scale of Catherine Street when it approved this development. Next slide, please. So where is the open and transparent and accountable government and decision making? What the public saw was on the left-hand side, and what was approved in secret, after secret meetings with the developer, was the right-hand side, the office building in a residential area on Catherine Street. Next slide, please. Just the points and not the picture just yet. The state government is ignoring what we want, which is orderly and proper planning. We do not, certainly when I was campaigning, we did not want any more West Perth offices in Subiaco, in the East Ward. Our town planning scheme promotes the retention of heritage character, original development patterns, scale consistent with existing developments in the locality, and the preservation of amenity, character and scale. These all come from our town planning scheme, which the local government is the caretaker of, and we as your elected members are here to enforce that. But with the DAP acting in secret, this is what the DAP have approved on the corner of Railway Road and Bagot Road. This office block, no residential component whatsoever, ignores our city's resolution on the 20th of December 2011 to zone this area R80, residential R80. The state government have ignored our plans, our resolution, and have ignored the fact, the next slide please, that this site is reserved land for public use hospital. The state government should be protecting that. The state government also should produce a current report, a responsible authority report, which should be scrutinised by the public. And these reports are not being scrutinised by the public. The DAP must publish a notice and an agenda for a meeting. It did not do that on this particular site. And it also, the DAP regulations say that any meeting of the DAP must be held in public and a copy of the minutes be published. None of this occurred. So the next point. So what the government has enabled is for the developer, and this is any place and any site around the state, allows the developer to file an ambit claim. Here, we're going to build this, what do you think? It'll get knocked back if the community have its way, and the DAP did knock back the office building in the first instance. So then the developer files a SAT proceeding. At the SAT, it insists on secrecy, and then it asks the SAT, which is the State Administrative Tribunal, to refer it back to the DAP under Section 31, and which enables secrecy, but it actually is silent on secrecy. And I challenge that, and I will be challenging that for my elected members' motion tomorrow night. They also then get the DAP to approve the development in secret and without publishing any minutes on what they determined, how they determined it, and what town planning scheme issues did they make their judgment on. This is what we are faced with the DAP. The DAP has failed us, has failed all of us with allowing secrecy to reign, especially on this site at the corner of Bagot Road and Railway Road. And it had failed the residents of Catherine Street when it produced one set of drawings and plans about what was going to be developed, and then in a secret meeting worked it out with the developer what else they could have there, and then just ignored all of the submissions from the residents and their representatives and approved an office block. So just on to the next slide. So what we're facing potentially here in Subiaco is a list of sites that could be potentially approved in secret. You may think you can write a submission or think you can have some input into it. Yes, sure, you might be able to do that. But at the end of the day, this SAT and DAP system has allowed secrecy. I believe it's rotten to the core. It should be dissolved, in my opinion. And these sites, which include Coles, the Subiaco Oval site, 208 Bagot Road, which is before the DAP at the moment. You have until the 14th of December to make your feelings felt about those particular developments. That's at Hay Street and Olive Street. There's also the Pavilion Market site, which is a developer could get the minister to intervene, and he's already tried to intervene by asking us why we won't approve 14 stories or 16 stories on the site. So we are under siege. Our sites are under siege. The foreshore at Cottesloe is potentially under siege if their town planning scheme gets approved and then the developers work out how to use the DAP-SAP system. And so that leads me to my final slide, and I hope Colin and I'm on time now at the 10 minutes. Tomorrow night I will be putting to Council the question of Supreme Court action over the procedural process for the DAP system. So now at the moment I'm curious as to was the DAP properly constituted when it had a secret meeting? If it wasn't, does the decision have any legal effect? And also, can the DAP minutes to approve the development application remain in secret indefinitely? So that matter is before Council. It's currently a confidential item, but I will be moving a motion to have that matter heard in public if I can get the support of the community, because we are under siege in Subiaco with potential secret developments, and we've already got one. And I thank you all for coming tonight, and do vote for Independence Day on the 9th of March 2013.